Keanu Reeves had not planned on becoming a ghost in his own building. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon in late autumn when he parked 3 blocks away from the small diner he had bought 6 years earlier. The place was never meant to be a business. It had been a favor to an old friend who was drowning in debt. Keanu had paid off the bank, kept the original name on the sign, and then mostly forgotten about it. He received monthly reports. The numbers looked fine. He never visited until today. He wore faded blue jeans with a small tear near the left knee, a plain gray hoodie 2 sizes too big, and a dusty baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. 3 days of dark stubble covered his jaw. No one looking at him would have guessed he was one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. That was the point. The bell above the door gave a soft, tired chime as he stepped inside. The diner smelled of coffee, fried potatoes, and old wood. Booze lined the windows. A long counter with red stools ran down the middle. A few regulars had scattered around, mostly older people nursing bottomless cups of coffee. No one looked up when he entered. No one whispered his name. For the first time in years, Keanu felt almost invisible. He chose a stool at the far end of the counter, the one that gave him a clear view of the entire floor and the kitchen pass-through. A young waitress with tired eyes and a name tag that said Lila slid a laminated menu in front of him without making eye contact. "Coffee?" she asked. "Please." "Black." She poured it and walked away. Keanu wrapped both hands around the warm mug and simply watched. That was when he first noticed Walt. Walt was in his late 60s, maybe early 70s. Thin, slightly bent at the shoulders, with white hair that refused to stay flat and hands that looked like they had scrubbed 1,000 plates. He moved between the dishwashing station and the kitchen with quiet efficiency. Every time a busboy brought a tub of dirty dishes, Walt took them without complaint. Every time a cook yelled for clean plates, Walt delivered them. He never raised his voice. He never slowed down. But Keanu noticed something else. Around 2:17 p.m., a young mother sat in the corner booth with 2 small children. She studied the menu for a long time, then ordered only a single grilled cheese and water. When the food came, she cut the sandwich into 3 pieces and gave the larger portions to her kids. She ate nothing herself. Walt had been wiping a nearby table. He paused for half a second, then disappeared into the back. A few minutes later, he returned with a small bowl of soup and a side of fries. He set them on the mother's table without a word and walked away before she could protest. The woman stared at the extra food, then at Walt's retreating back. Her eyes filled. She mouthed, "Thank you." Walt only nodded once and returned to his dishes. Keanu's coffee went cold in his hands. Over the next 2 hours, he watched the same thing happen 3 more times. An elderly man who clearly couldn't afford the full breakfast received an extra egg and toast. A teenage boy in a worn school hoodie, who ordered only coffee, was quietly given a grilled cheese. Each time, Walt paid from a folded stack of small bills he kept in his apron pocket. Each time, he made sure no one in management saw him do it. Keanu felt something shift inside his chest. He stayed until closing. The next morning, he came back. Same clothes, same cap, same silent corner of the counter. He ordered the cheapest thing on the menu and nursed it for hours. No one recognized him. The staff treated him like any other quiet regular who preferred to be left alone. On the second day, he began to notice the 2 cashiers. Their names were Brittany and Tyler. Both looked to be in their early 20s. Brittany had sharp eyeliner and a permanent half smirk. Tyler had the kind of confident posture that usually came from never having been truly tested by life. They worked the front register and the takeout window. They laughed too loudly. They whispered too often. At first, Keanu thought they were just young and bored. Then he started catching pieces of their conversations. "I'm telling you, that old man is stealing," Brittany said one afternoon while counting the till. Her voice was low, but not low enough. "Every time the drawer is short, it's after his shift." Tyler snorted. "Dude lives in a trailer behind the hardware store. Of course he's stealing. Look at him. He's pathetic." Keanu's fingers tightened around his coffee cup. Later that same day, he watched Brittany slip into the back office when the manager was busy. She came out 5 minutes later with a small manila envelope. That evening, while Walt was bent over the sink, Brittany accidentally knocked a tray of clean glasses onto the floor near a station. In the chaos that followed, she loudly announced that the drawer was $40 short again. Walt's face went pale. He started to speak, but Brittany cut him off. "Save it, Walt. We all know what's going on." The manager, a middle-aged man named Greg, who always looked like he hadn't slept, sighed heavily. "We'll talk about this tomorrow, Walt. Just finish your shift." Walt nodded once. His shoulders sank another inch. Keanu did not sleep well that night. On the third morning, he arrived before the diner opened. He sat in his car across the street and watched Walt arrive on a rusty bicycle. The old man's jacket was too thin for the cold. When he unlocked the back door and disappeared inside, Keanu finally made a decision. He was not going to stay a ghost any longer. But first, he needed proof. That afternoon, while Brittany and Tyler were on their break, Keanu slipped into the small hallway near the office. The door was unlocked. Inside, he found the manila envelope Brittany had taken the day before. It contained 3 crumpled $20 bills and a handwritten note in what was clearly Brittany's handwriting. Took from drawer, plan on Walt later. Keanu photographed everything with his phone, then put the envelope back exactly as he found it. He returned to his stool. Around 4 p.m., the trap was sprung. Brittany discovered that the drawer was short again. This time she made a bigger scene. She called Greg over. She pointed at Walt, who was just coming out of the kitchen with a clean rack of glasses. Tyler backed her up immediately. "We've been watching him for weeks," Tyler said. "He's been taking money and then acting like some kind of saint by giving free food to people. It's all a cover." Walt stood frozen, the rack of glasses still in his hands. "I never took a single dollar," he said quietly. "I swear on my wife's grave." Brittany laughed. "Your wife's been gone 10 years, Walt. Maybe if you weren't so busy playing hero with money that isn't yours, you wouldn't be living in that trash trailer." Something in Keanu's expression changed. The quiet observer was gone. In his place was a man who had spent a lifetime watching people underestimate the wrong person. He stood up. The legs of the stool scraped loudly against the floor. Every head in the diner turned. Keanu reached up, pulled off the baseball cap, and let it drop onto the counter. Then he pushed the hood of his sweatshirt back. For 3 full seconds, the entire restaurant went completely silent. Lila dropped the coffee pot she was holding. It shattered on the floor, but no one looked down. Greg's mouth fell open. Brittany's smirk vanished so fast it looked like someone had slapped it off her face. Tyler took an automatic step backward. Keanu's voice, when he finally spoke, was calm, almost soft, but it carried to every corner of the room. "My name is Keanu Reeves. I own this restaurant." No one breathed. He walked slowly toward the register, eyes locked on Brittany and Tyler. "For the last 3 days, I have sat at that counter and watched everything. I watched an old man who can barely afford his own rent use his last dollars to feed people who were hungrier than he was. And I watched the 2 of you try to destroy him for it." He pulled out his phone and turned the screen toward Greg. The photos of the Planet Money and the handwritten note were clear as day. "You didn't just try to fire him," Keanu continued. "You tried to brand him a thief, so no one else would ever hire him. You called him pathetic while he was doing the one thing this place was supposed to be about." Brittany's voice came out small. We didn't know it was you." "That's the problem," Keanu said. "You thought it didn't matter who was watching." He turned to Walt. The old man's eyes were shining with unshed tears. Keanu's voice softened. "Walt, how long have you been paying for customers out of your own pocket?" Walt swallowed hard. "Going on 4 years now, sir. Ever since my wife passed. She used to say no one should leave here hungry. If we could help it, I just kept the promise." Keanu nodded once. Then he looked at Greg. "Walt doesn't work for tips anymore. Effective today, he is a new floor manager. Full salary, full benefits, and a key to the place. The trailer behind the hardware store is no longer his address. We'll take care of that today." He turned back to Brittany and Tyler. The warmth in his voice disappeared. "You 2 have 15 minutes to collect your things and leave. If I ever hear that either you try to work in another restaurant in the city and use Walt's name to get yourselves hired, I will make sure every owner on this side of town knows exactly who you are. Am I clear?" They both nodded, already moving toward the back to grab their bags. The silence that followed was heavier than any shouting could have been. Keanu walked over to Walt and held out his hand. The old dishwasher stared at it for a second, then took it with both of his own. His grip was stronger than it looked. "Thank you," Walt whispered. "I don't know what to say." Keanu gave a small, tired smile. "You already said everything that needed saying. You just said it with soup and grilled cheese instead of words." He looked around the diner one more time. The regulars were still staring. A few of them had tears on their faces. Lila was quietly crying behind the counter while trying to clean up the broken coffee pot. Keanu picked up his baseball cap from the counter, turned it over in his hands once, then set it back down. "I'm going to be around more often," he said, mostly to himself. "This place matters more than I realize." He walked toward the door. The little bell chimed again as he stepped outside into the cold afternoon air. Behind him, the diner slowly came back to life. But it was a different kind of life now. Quieter, kinder, real. And somewhere in the back, an old man named Walt stood a little straighter than he had in years, already thinking about which table might need an extra bowl of soup that evening.